we have given like 3 tasks we have given over to us and the 3 destinations are given, right? So note down, we have given say example 0 or we can say it O, O1, O2, O3. Three sources, right? Transportation problem, that is again we have to assign the topics properly. And then transportation again we have given the different methods. In the first method as we have done northwest corner method, second one is the LCM method and third one is the VAM method. So we are doing a Vogel's approximation method, VAM method, that is Vogel's approximation method. With Vogel's approximation method, we are able to find out the initial feasible solution, right? Initial feasible solution. So first we have to find out the initial feasible solution. If my initial feasible solution is the best one or not, then we have to find out the next one. So write it over here, the different tasks, D2, D3 and D4, right? And we have given the information, put all the information over here. 1, 2, 1, 4. Then the next one is 3, 3, 2, 1. Next one is 4, 2, 5, and 9. Right? This is given to us, and as well as the demand and supply also being provided. That is here, it is a demand, that is a requirement 20, 40, 30, and the last one is 10. And here we have the supply, that is the capacity. So write it over here as supply. How much supply is given? That is 30, 50, and for O3 it is 20. Right? Again, what we have to do, the step number 1, that is we have to first check out whether the demand are equal to supply. So check it, total demand, that is equals to 20 plus 40 plus 30 plus 10, right? We have to check it, the total supply, add all the supply value over here, 30 plus 50 plus 20. So adding all the values, yes, we definitely find it that demand is equals to supply. After getting this demand is equals to supply, we will apply the VAM method, that is Vogel's approximation method. So for apply VAM method, startup, you can do in that scenario also like reducing the matrix, but also in the same question. So we start up again 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3 with G1, G2, G3 and G4. As demand is equal to supply, that means we don't have to create any sort of dummy macros and columns. Put it over here 1, 2, 1, 4, the values 3, 5, 2 and 1. Next one is 4, 2, 5 and 9. And we have given the supply. And the next we have given the demand. Putting all the values over here is 20, 40, 30 and 10. And over here it is 30, 50, 20. Right? The next what we have to do, now we have to give the penalty. In the VAM method, that is the most important method for finding the initial feasible solution. In this, we have to give the penalty. And the penalty, how is the penalty? Yes, for each rows and columns, we have to give the penalty. Penalty is calculated by considering the two least values of each row and subtracting them. So here the least value is 1 and 2. So subtract 2 minus 1, that will be 1. Over here the least value is 1 and 2, that will again 1. In this is 2 and 4, the lowest one, the next two lowest one, the 2 and the 4, that will be 2. Right, with this also, like from the row wise also you have to find out, and in the column wise also. So in column, if we are finding out the least value is 1 and 3, that means 4. Over here is 2 and 5, so we can give it as just taking a one figure over here. This is 3, 3, right? Write down over here is 3, 3. So this is 3. I'm just changing the value with you, and it's 3. So the next one is, it remains same 2 and 1, but over here it will be changed 3 and 2, and it will be 1, right? Coming up to the next, that is the difference between the two least values. That is 1 and 2 will be 1 of this, 4 and 1, that will be 3. Now what we have to do, we have to select the highest from all these penalties. Highest, that is from all these penalty, and we are finding the highest in this one. That is the column number D4. Now you have to give the allocation in D4 as much as you can to the least cell. And the least cell is 1. So give the allocation to this. This is 10, this is 50. So how much allocation we can give? 10 allocation. So the remaining over here is 0. And about this, we are handling a remaining, that will be 40. Right? And now the same process goes on. That is, again, you have to calculate the penalty P2 and over here. First by the row wise and the column wise. Since this G4 is all wind up, so what we do, we just calculate, we just make it like cancel this G4 because already all the allocations been done. Right. Now I'm finding out the penalty considering only D1, D2 and D3. Kindly do, well, you don't have to consider D4 now. Okay. So next least one is in the first row, that is 1, 2, 1. So two difference, that is 1 and 2, that will be again 1. In the O3 second row, the two next best least alternative or the lowest cell is 2 and 3. So considering difference between 2 and 3. In the last row is 2 and 4. So that means the difference will be 2. Coming up with the column number 1, if I am considering 1, 3 and 4, the difference between the two lowest is 1 and 3, then it will be 2. Over to column number 2, 2 and 3, that means the difference will be 1. Considering the column number 3, that is 1 and 2, so the difference is 1. Right. What we find out in this, again the same process, highest value of all this. If I'm considering the highest value in P2, please have a look. We can take it this one also, O3, or we can go for the D1. It's up to you. I'm just taking this value. Here there will be no difference. Okay. And the least one we have to consider up. Least one is in 2. Give the maximum allocation we can give up. So the maximum allocation we have given 20. So here the balance will be 0. And the remaining over here will be 20. 40 minus 20, that will be 20. So what does it indicate? That O3 is being wind up as all the allocations being done. So we just delete this cell also. Now coming up to the next step, same step process, penalty goes on T3, same process P3. How we calculate? Considering the difference between the two least value. Now here the two least value is 1 and 3. If I'm considering the column wise, then 2. Again over here 2 minus 3 will be 1. 1 minus 2 will be 1. Coming to the row wise, if I'm considering row 1, that is 1, 2, 1. So difference between 1 to 1 is 1. 3, 3, 2, difference between 3 minus 2 again is 1. And this one is no more, so we make it as a dash. Right, as when it is no, it's being deleted, so we make it dash. Now again we have to find out the highest from all these penalties, and this is in your column number 1. Give it to the maximum satisfaction to the least one. So least one is 1 and 3. From 1 and 3, the least one is 1. Give the allocation as much as you can. So maximum allocation from 20 to 30 can give 20. Then the remaining balance over here is 0. And 30 minus 20, the remaining pending will be 10. So we deleted this cell as the column D1 is done up. So we delete the column number D1 over here. Repeat the process again. Then again we have to calculate the penalty. That means P4 over here and the P4 for rows and columns both way. Right. Now coming up P4, difference between, if I'm considering one column, one row, 1 and 2 difference, that will be again 1, and 3 and 2 minus, that will be 1. This third row is already been deleted. Now coming with the D4, the column wise G1 is already been deleted. So difference between 3 and 2, that is in the column number D2, the difference is 1. If I'm talking about D3, 1 and 2 difference, that is again 1. Right. Now again we have to select the maximum allocations, like to whom we can give the maximum allocation, as all the values of the penalty is now 1. How we compare it? Now you can select as you feel like you were selecting it and give the maximum allocation. We will try our best to give the maximum satisfaction to the lowest cost first. See, the lowest cost is 1, so I am trying to give the allocation to 1 first, and the maximum allocation can be done to this is 10. Right? Now this value is again 0, and remaining over here is 20. Now we considering, as we have given the 10 element to O1 D3, so my O1 is also been done up, so it's been deleted. Now remaining only 2 points, that is 3 and 2. We will try to give the maximum allocation to the least cost first. Then the least cost is 2. How much allocation we can give to this? That is 20, right? So this value is again 0 and this one is remaining 20. Then this is 0, then again we will be D3, right? And now my the pending one is only one cell, that is 3, and I have to give the allocation to this only, that is 20. See, it is also 0, 20, and this is also 0. With this, be able to find out, see, all the allocations should be 0 in all the demand and supply. All demand and supply capacity has been done up, fully capacity filled up. Yes, see, the requirement of D1 is 20, it's been 0. D2 is 40 till 0. D3 is 30, but now it is 0. D4 it is 10, but now 0. Same with the supply one. O1 has been a supply capacity of 30, as able to sell up, and then the remaining points is 0. For OT, it is O2, it is 50, and now after giving all the requirements to the different destinations, it gets 0. When O3, with all the requirement capacity supplied is 20 and all the allocations being done. So with the help of this, we able to find out how much allocation being done up to different for candidates, right? Now just writing all the values properly, like where they are supplying the goods. So O1, we are supplying to G1, how much quantity? 20 units, that will be at a rate of rupees 1. So we multiply by 20 into 1, right? That will be 20 rupees. Now coming to the next one, from O1, we have the units being transferred to D3. So O1 to D3, how much units being transferred? We transferred 20 units, and that too at a rate of rupees 1, right? That means we multiply by 20 into 1. This is the way how we multiply each value with the other value. Why we multiply this value to the other value? To get the maximum level of initial feasible solution, which can make you answer in a proper way, right? So coming up further and writing over here. Now O2, as we are giving the first we have to complete with the O1 only. So for O1, we have given the power to D3 also. And how much units we have given to D3? 1 into 10. Then it will be 1 into 10, that will be 10 units, right? Over here, we have given 20 units at a rate of rupees 1. So the total is 20, right? Now from DQ2, if I'm talking about O2, O2, how many units being transferred to D2? I want to look 20 units at a rate of rupees 3. So 20 multiplied by 3, that will be 60, right? Now from O2, we have given to D3 also. O2, we have given supply to D3. How many units? 20 units at a rate of rupees 2. So 20 multiplied by 2, that will be 40 units. Right? Now from O2 to D4 also we have transferred. O2 to D4. How many units? From 10 units at a rate of rupees 1. So 10 units multiplied by 1, that will be 10 rupees. Right, now from O3, we have transferred the goods to D2 also. O2, then we have transferred to D2. How many units? 20 units at a rate of rupees 2. So that means 20 multiplied by 2, that will be 40. Right? Then from O3, we have transferred to anyone else? No, D3, D4, nothing is there. So sum up of all these values and be able to find out the answer is 180. This indicates we have find out the initial feasible solution by using which method we have used over here is the VAM method, that is a Vogel approximation method. That means with the help of the Vogel's approximation method, we are able to find out the initial feasible solution, and that initial feasible solution is rupees 180. Now with the help of initial feasible solution, we are able to find out the next point, that is the Modi method, and with the help of Modi method, we are able to find out whether this initial feasible solution is the optimum solution or not. Now applying this question further, and we are able to find out the same question, continue to find out the Modi method, and the full form of Modi method is modified distribution method. Modified distribution method. What is the main purpose of modified distribution method? Is to find out whether the answer is optimum or no. This method also known as UV method. You can write down UV method, right? We used to say Modi method most of the time, but it can be called up as a UV method, so don't be consumed what will happen. So before doing that question, again, I'm just writing each and every task. What we have done now, we have given O1, O2, and A3. And with all the allocations which we have find out in J1, J2, J3, and J4, right? And whatever the allocations we have been like gained up, just write it over here. From 1, we have secured 20 allocations, right? 2, no allocation. On 1, we have given how much allocation? That is 20, 10 allocation. And then we have given 4, no allocation. On 3, then again the next one, 3 on 20 allocation. For J3, we have given 3 out of 20 allocations, 1 to 10 allocations. And O3 to J1, no allocation. Then from 2 to 20, we have given 20 allocation, no allocation, and 9 allocation. And this is our supply, which is given as per the question. And this is my demand, right? So it is 20, 40, and 30, and the last one is 10. And over here it is 30, 50, and 20. Right? This is as per the BAM method. Now, what we have to do in the Modi method, we have to take two categories, or we divide the question into two categories, one for the allocated cell and one for the unallocated cell. So first step is like first we have to determine for the allocated cell. So write it for allocated cell, we have to find out for allocated cell, we have to check what we have to check. We have to check whether Cij over here, Cij, don't worry, I will explain each every term over there. Cij should be equal to Ui plus Vj, right? Cij should be equal to Ui plus Vj. Now we have to find out what this Ui plus Vj. So what we have to do, we have to write down all the allocated cells first of only the allocated cells, and then we'll explain you what is this Cij and Ui plus Vj. So make a matrix again, and you have to write down over here like O1, O2, O3, and over here as J1, J2, J3, and J4. And write down only those cells having the allocated. Okay, so write it over here as 1 for 20 allocation we have given, 1 for 10 we have given the allocation over here, for 2 we have given 3 for 20, and O2 to J2 also we have given 3, that to 20, right? And O2 to J2 also we have given 1, that is an allocation of 10. Then O3 to D2 we have given how many allocation? 2 for 20 allocation, right? This is the way we have done a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many allocations are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 allocations are there. Right? Now we have to give the value Cij is equals to Ui plus Vj. Now, ma'am, what is this Cij and how we have to calculate this Ui Vj? Before starting this, what we have to do, we have to give the values over there, U1, U2, and this is U3. Right? Write down like this only. Start doing the numerical question with me only, how we have write it. And over here, we have to write V1 is equals to V2 is equals to V3 is equals to and V4 is equals to, right? Now what we have to do, first select the row or column having the maximum allocation. So check it by one. In the first row, we have given 2 allocation. If I'm talking about the second row, we have given 3 allocation. If I'm talking about the third row, we have only 1 allocation. Check it also column wise. Is there anyone having the maximum allocation more than 3? Then it is no. So we have given the value as 0 to this. Why we have given 0 to this? Because it has the maximum allocation. So remember, we have given 0 to this U2. Why U2 is having the maximum allocation? U2 is equals to 0. We have given up. We have assigned as it has maximum allocation in this set. right? In this row, it has a maximum allocation, so we have allotted it 0. Now, what we have to check is we have given Cij. So, what this row and column? If I'm talking about this one, 1 and 1, O1 and J1. So, for O1 and J1, I can write it C11 is equals to U1, that is the row 1, and the column 1. Ui plus Vn, right? Now, C1 value is 1 as per the given, that is the cost. U1 value we don't know. We don't know about the value of V1, so we just write it as U1 and V1. But if I'm talking about the value which is we have taken up, that is the U2. So I'm starting with the row, first of all with the second rows and second point. So if I start with the O2, right? C, I'm just writing down each and every point over here. Right? C22, 22, that will be U2 plus V2. Diagonal way you have to check it, row wise and column wise. If I'm talking about U2, so take it in this way, U2 and V2. So I'm knowing this value of C22, that is to its 3 over here, right? And U2 value also I know, that is 0. V2 value I don't know, so write it over here as V2. Well, now I find the value of V2. Exactly, we find the value of V2 as 3. So we can write it over here value as 3. Hope you're getting this value V2. That is 3 over here, not there. So just erase this value. Done. Now we have seen the similar way as we have assigned the value of C22. Now we are coming up to the next point, that is again we have to find out C23. C23. Yes, we have to find out all the values U1, U2, U3, V1, V2, V3 and V2. So C23 what will be? U2 plus V3. This one, no? This is 2, this is 2. Right? And 2, 3 will be this value 3. So write it over here as 3 is equals to, what is U2? Check it on the point. It's 0. Now again, are we able to find the value of V3 now? Yes, we are able to find out the value of V3 and that is again 3. So write it over here as 3. Right, we started with the row with 2. Why we started? Because we have given the maximum allocation over there and that is U2. So writing up again next one, the third category, that is C2, 4. That will be U2, take it as U2 and V4, right? So U2 plus V4. And C24 value is 1, so write it over here as 1 is equals to U2 value is 0 plus V4 value, we don't know, but now we able to find out the V4 value. The answer is yes. So V4 is equals to 1. So this is the way we are able to find out the V4 value of is equals to 1. So to write it over here as 1. Done. Now coming up to the next point, that is, can we go with the C11? Yes, you can. But now also is going on that way only. So now we are going on the third column and the third row even. C3, 2. That will be U2 plus U3, sorry, and V2, right? This is 32, so 32. So 32 is the value of 2, so write it over there. The cost of C2 is equals to 2 is equals to, what is the value of U3? Do we know the value of U3? No, we don't know, so write it over there as U3. But we know the value of 3. V2, yes, we know the value of V3. Now we are able to find out the value of U3 over here. Yes, the answer of U3 is equals to 2 minus 3, that will be minus 1. So here we can able to find out the value of U3 and that is minus 1. So write it over there as minus. Right. Now coming up to the first row, that is C11. Are we able to find C11 now? It's U1 and V1. But now still we are not having the value of U1 and V1. So starting with the next one, that is C1. The next allocation and the starting one is 1, C13, and the cost is 1. So write it over as C13, that is the cost is 1, is equals to U1 plus V3. And that cost is 1 is equals to, do we know U1? No, we don't know U1 value of, but do we know the value of V3? Answer is yes. This is the way we are able to find out the value of U1. that is 1 minus 3, that will be minus 2. So writing over here, the value of u1 is minus 2. Now after completing C312, are we able to find the value of now C1, putting the value over here, that is minus 2, and V1, that is, we are not knowing V1. Now, are we able to find out the value of V1 from this value? Yes, we are. That is 1. Minus over there will be 3. So the value come up. V1 is equals to 3. So this is the way we are able to find out all the values of U1, U2, U3 and V1, V2, V3, V4 with the help of Cij. But only this will work when we are given the allocated cells, right? As we have done up with this step, now we're coming up to the next step, that is for unallocated cell. Already discussed, the Modi method divided all the allocations after completing your RAM method to the two parts, that's for allocated cell and the second one is for unallocated cell. So write down now here for unallocated cell. Now what we have to do for the unallocated cell, write down, and now we have to check if the most important situation that all the value of Cij, all the value of Cij minus Ui plus Vj should be greater than equals to 0. So this is the most important criteria for the Modi method is for finding out the unallocated cell values and finding equation of Cij is equals to Cij minus Ui plus Vj should be greater than equals to 0. So write down the matrix first of all, 0, 1, O2, O3, and now we have to write down only the unallocated cells, right? Write it over as D1, D2, D3, D3. The point is that we have to write down all the tasks, either T1, T2, T3, that doesn't matter. So write the allocated cells. We have the allocated cells in O1, we have the allocated cells in O, we have the allocated cells in this O2, that is 3, then here O3, that is 4, and in D5 we have 5 and 9. So this is the points of the allocated. Only allocated we have done up, now we have taken the unallocated cells, right? Check it unallocated cell. Now for each unallocated cells, you have to check out the situation. So writing over here and we are finding all the allocation. Right? C. So first one is your 1, 2. We have to check it from here 1 and 2. O1, G2. So what we write over here? C1, 2. Right? Minus C1, that is U1, because we have to put all this in this formula. Right? So U1, that means your U1, yes, you can write the value of U1, U2, U3 from here, first of all, which we have just find out in the upper point. V1 is equals to, V2 is equals to, V3 is equals to, and V4 is equals to. As we already find out, U1 value is minus 2, U2 value is equals to 0, U3 value is equals to minus 1. V1 value is equals to 3, V2 value is 3, V3 value is 3, and V4 value is 1. So putting all the values in Cij and Ui plus Vj. Now put all that scenarios in the lower part, that is now this one, U1 plus, and the next point is Vj, that is V1, right? And check it whether it is greater than equals to 0 or not. If it is equals to 0, that means it is true. If it's not, then again you have given a wrong allocations and this is not your optimum answer. So check it for C12, that is 2, right? Minus UI, VI is already find out. For U1 is minus 2 and V1 is 3. So write it over here, minus 2 plus 3. For V1, 3, right? 3 minus 2, that will be 1. 2 minus 1, that will be 1. If 1 is greater than 0, the answer is yes. This statement is true. 1 is greater than 0. That means this situation is true. This is for the one cell, that is C12. We have to find all the cells again and again and check it for each cell that this statement is true or not. Right. Now coming up to this, we have find out the first allocated point. Now check for the second one, that is C1 3, and we have 1 4, not 3, for unallocated. So C1 4 is equals to or minus, directly also you can write it minus, take it minus over here, C1 4 minus bracket U1 plus V4, V1 U1 plus V4 should be greater than equal to 0, right? Should be greater than equal to 0. C14 we have given the information of 4. C1 is equals to 4 minus, what is U1? Minus 2. So write it over here, minus 2 plus, what is V4? That is 1. So write down over here as 1. It should be greater than equals to 0. Putting the value minus 2, 1 will be equals to 1. 4 minus 1 will be 3. So again, this condition is also fulfilled. True. Right? This is the second unallocated cell. Now coming up to the next one, that is C21, that is 3, right? Minus U2 plus V1. Again, it should be greater than equals to 0. Check it. C21 is 3 minus value of U2 is 0 plus V1 is 3. 0 plus 3 will be greater than 3. Yes, 0 plus 3 and 3 minus 3, that will be 3. So I must say 3 minus 0. 3 minus 3 is 0, so that means greater than equal to 0. Yes, this condition is also true. So C21 is also done now, right? For second row, we don't have the another point. Now we're coming up to the next row, that is third row. And in third row, we have three unallocated cells. So first one is C31. C31 minus 31, that is the 4 which is given now, right? Minus U3 plus V1 should be greater than equals to 0. Putting the value in this, 4 minus U3, that is again minus 1, plus V3, that is 3. Check it, is it is greater than 0? Calculation you have to do up is a very general question. I've just taken a very numerical question that you can do up by your own mind. No need to use a calculator also over here. Putting all the value 3 minus 1, that will be 2. 4 minus 2, that will be 2. And that is greater than 0. The answer will be 2. That means the conditions are satisfied. For third one also. Now we're coming up to the next category, that is C3. And the second last is what done? 3 3, that is 5 1. Okay, so we have to start with the C33. Check it. C33 minus U3 plus V3 should be greater than equals to 0. Now again, putting all the value of C3 as we have just checked out. C3 value is 5. 5 minus U3 value, that is minus 1, plus V3 value, that is 3. So putting all the figure, is it 0? Yes, greater than, then the answer is 2. And the last one we have to find out C34. Checking the value of C34 also, putting all the calculation over there. C34 minus U3 plus V4 should be greater than equals to 0. Now check it. C34 is your 9 minus U3 is minus 1 plus V4 is equals to 1. It's greater than equals to 0. Putting all the values in the same concept, Cij minus Ui plus Vj should be greater than equals to 0. If all the values over in this question, that is all the values, all the conditions are being satisfied, this shows that we are being qualified with the concept of OD and the initial feasible solution which we have done up, and from the initial feasible solution we find the figure as 180, that 180 rupees is only your optimum solution. There is no need to do any more modifications as if all your answer being modified. That means the initial feasible solution is exactly as your optimal solution. This can happen that Your initial feasible solution is something different as compared to your optimal solution. That is with the help of Modi, that is UV method. But step by step, we find out this method is the best method